Well, I hope you've all had an opportunity to vote. We'll keep the voting open a little bit longer in case anybody has not voted and they would like to vote. Got a bunch of ladies behind me. They're trying to decide where to sit. Anyway, we're going to start going back. We're going to revisit 1436. And then we'll go on to the next one, which is 1439. And Mike 8, if you...
Mr. President, I rise to a point of order because us nitpickers have to get their say in at every convention. I refer you to Standing Rule 1, Section 2A1, which says each member retains the right to belong to any chapter. Resolution 1436, to be effective, would have to amend that standing rule. So adoption of this resolution does not do that and will therefore have no effect whatsoever. If the Assembly would like to have a standing vote on this resolution, it can do so. But do we still want a standing vote? Because it won't mean anything and we'll spend half an hour wasted time.
Thank you, Margaret. Mike number 4. Up. Mike 4, push the button again, please.
Okay. Linda Kurtz, Chapter 2071 from Missouri Federation. Since E-members are not even mentioned in the bylaws, I don't understand what it is that we need to change in the bylaws.
That's your question?
Yes.
We'd have to have a separate category if that's what we wanted to do, to disenfranchise or to take the votes away from somebody. You'd have to have a separate category. All chapters are equal. 2363 is like any other chapter. And the standing rules say you can belong to any chapter you want. So, period. Mike number 3.
Hi, Jerry Hardison from Chapter 21. I had a moment during the break with one of the members of the membership committee, and I asked if this would require a 2/3 vote, why the committee did not send this resolution over to the bylaws committee. And evidently they couldn't agree on that either. Some of them wanted to send it, and some of them didn't. So
Thank
that's
you.
for clarification.
Okay. Mike number 10.
Michael Chappelle, Chapter 1515, Dearborn, Michigan. I'd like to propose an amendment to this resolution. The idea of the amendment is to answer some of the questions that are coming up. We cannot pass this as a bylaw change, and if we do pass it, it's just basically a recommendation. But I have an amendment that could possibly solve the questions and problems in the short run. It reads that in the future, all applications for membership, including the NARFE magazine, will list the eNARFE membership chapter last, and the words email address strongly recommended will be next to the line for the eNARFE enrollment. And I have a second.
Would you put that in writing and bring it up here, please? We have and has it been seconded? Okay. The amendment that we're going to be working off of for 1436, and I will read it, that in the future, all applications for membership, including the NARFE magazine, will list the eNARFE membership last, and the words, quote, email address strongly recommended, unquote, will be placed next to the line for ENOF enrollment. Is there any discussion on this? I have mics that are activated. We're going to be talking on the amendment. So if, point of order on number 5. Oh, and then I'll get to 9. Point of order on 5. Did you want to talk 5?
I'll pass right now. I'll pass right now.
No? Point of order on 9.
Thank you, Mr. President. The debate on this issue has been closed. Amendments are not in order. We've taken the vote. It was too close to call, so we're going to have a standing vote. Can we proceed on that basis?
Did you want to have a standing vote, or did you want to discuss this and then see if we can resolve it? What do you want to do?
Debate was
Members,
closed and a vote
what do
was
the members
taken.
want to do? Do we want to resolve it now? Okay, we'll resolve it now. Next one is 13. 13 hasn't pushed the button. If 13 wants to talk, you have to push your button.
Us Region 9. So the question before us is to resolve this by a standing vote. Is that correct?
The question is the amendment that in the future all applications for membership, including the NARFE magazine, will list the ENOF membership last, and the words, quote, email address strongly recommended, unquote, will be placed next to the line for ENOF enrollment. That is what we're discussing at this time. Any discussion on this?
Mr. President.
I have mic number 3.
Look over here. Oh, is that me?
If you're mic
Okay.
number 3, that's you.
All right, Joe, here's the problem I have. If you don't require all the rest of the members to have emails, including regular chapters, you're discriminating against the folks who want to join e-chapter. Plain and simple. Okay? So if you want to do that, it ought to be all or nothing. And I can't imagine that everybody here, every single chapter, is going to require all their members to have email. Because I guarantee you a good maybe 15–20% of the whole membership of NARFE do not have emails, sir.
Thank you. We're talking about the amendment to 1436. Mic number 5. Where'd you go? They haven't lit up your button.
5 over here.
Mic number 5.
Ann Converso, 439 Buffalo, New York. I actually concur with the speaker a couple mics ago. I thought that we voted on this and that you could not determine if it was a yes or no vote. So I don't know how we get back to then discussing it. It was really a break to figure out, were we going to ballot vote it, we were going to stand and count, and now we're discussing something that we already voted on.
We didn't vote on it. Well, you
We
tried
did
to,
vote
but
on it.
we did not get the resolution of the vote because I couldn't call it. And I asked the membership if they wanted to discuss it now and resolve it, and they said yes. So that's what we'll do. Mic number 11, point of order.
Call for question.
Okay, the question's been called. All those in favor of calling the question, please raise your voting card. Opposed? Thank you. We will now discuss the amendment. We'll vote on, vote on the amendment. And I will read it for the last time, hopefully. That in the future, all applications for membership, including the NARFE magazine, will list the ENOF membership last, and the words, quote, email address strongly recommended, unquote, will be placed next to the line for ENOF enrollment. All those in favor of this amendment, please raise your voting card. All those opposed? I'm not getting serious, put my glasses on. All of those in favor? I can see better right now. All those opposed? The chair has said that those in favor have the majority vote. I looked over there. I started there. I went that way. Okay, so now this has been passed. Now we go back to 1436 as amended. 1436, and that is the requirement that all applicants for NARFE membership have an email address, as amended with this amendment. And you want me to read it again? Good. All those in favor of 1436 as amended, please raise your voting card. All those opposed? Oh, that's a lot easier. We have passed. That's been approved. Thank you for letting us get that done. Yeah. 1439 is the next one.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm sorry.
President.
That was for you to say.
1439, I got to get caught up here.
Point of order on number 4.
Mr. President, I believe that what you did was we voted on the amendment to the proposal.
We
Once
did.
the amendment was passed, we did not have discussion on the amended proposal.
Yeah, you
And I
did.
think a vote should not have been taken without having open discussion on the amended proposal. We voted to accept the amendment, but we did not have discussion on the amended proposal, and I think that's out of order.
The clock had run out, according, the parliamentarian has advised me, the clock had run out, so there was no time left to discuss it. In fact, we discussed it a long time.
Not an amendment.
Not the amendment.
Not the amended article. The clock had run out before it was amended. And then it was allowed to be amended, and then no discussion.
Mike, number 5.
Yogi Riley, San Fernando Valley, Chapter 61, California. With due respect to the chair, I believe that is a correct statement because you made the statement that you asked the body if they wanted to continue discussion on it, and for the parliamentarian to now say the discussion is over is improper. You opened it back up, our time limits start again, we should have 12 minutes or less to discuss the motion as amended.
Okay. Thank you. I'll go back to the assembly. Do you want to open this back up for discussion? If you do, put your cards up. Those that do not want to reopen this up for discussion, put your cards up. Thank you very much. It's up to you, Mr. Membership.
Which one?
Thank you.
Okay. I believe we're ready for resolution number 39, which is reassigning current NARFE chapter members to statewide chapters. And the committee rejected this one because it would be forcing federations to create NARFE chapters. So that's our to reject.
Thank you. We have one amendment that has been submitted. Will George Shale from 372, would you, if you want to make your amendment, would you make it? And is that Mike number 5? Okay. Mike 5.
George Shao, President, Pennsylvania Federation. I withdraw the amendment at this stage and will speak to the resolution when that time is permitted.
Okay. We will now discuss the resolution. And the membership committee has recommended reject. Anybody want to discuss? And that is, Mike, what, 3? 1? One isn't lit. 2. Is that Mike 2? Okay. Mike 3.
Mr. President, Bill Shackelford, past President, Virginia Federation, Region 10 RVP elect. Point of order. I believe this issue has been totally resolved. It was presented to the Bylaws Committee. The subject matter was presented to this body, and I believe it has been rejected.
We're talking 1439, and that's what you're talking about, sir?
Yes, sir.
National Secretary? Or you tell me? No. We're trying to resolve whether or not this has been. Is Bill Shackelford here?
I'm right here at Mike 3, sir.
You're the one.
I raised the point of order.
Well, thank you. If you
No,
said it was.
No problem.
Okay.
I would yield to the writer of these to explain how it does not match up with what the Bylaws Committee put before this body. But other than that, I believe it's already been discussed and resolved.
Okay. The parliamentarian tells me it was not voted on specifically. We have a point of order on 5. 5, point of order.
George Chow, President, Pennsylvania Federation. My point of order was to claim privilege as the author to speak first. However, if I may proceed, I will speak to the query that was raised. The resolution that we put forth does not require the establishment of NARFE chapters in any federation or statewide. It's an establishment of statewide chapters. They don't have to be NARFE, they're just statewide chapters. But it doesn't even require that. It says where they exist, the NARFE members can move over there. However, the thing I really want to use this time, which please start the clock on me because I will go all day. I told you that yesterday. Please, thank you. It's for the benefit of our members. And that's the only reason I'm here, is for the benefit of our members. The issue that we need to face and address is if we don't start change now, are we going to start in 2 years? Or 2 years after that? Or 2 years after that? The point is 2 years and 2 years until the end of time or until the end of NARFE. Now, this change really follows into the alignment of the future of NARFE with statewide organizations, with a state representative and congressional district reps, but yet it gives us the opportunity to get our grassroots mobilized now for the coming elections. However, I may not be as dumb as a box of rocks. I know, I can't claim that. I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania and I'm as dumb as a lump of coal. However, Mama didn't raise no fools. I know the sense of this organization and I know the objections that will be raised. So after consultation with some of the supporters that we've had for this resolution, I'm hereby withdrawing that resolution and we defer to the decision of the committee on this regard. Thank you.
So resolution 1439 has been withdrawn, correct?
Resolution number 1440 regarding membership eligibility was referred to the Bylaws Committee and was already voted on yesterday and rejected yesterday.
And that is correct. 1440 was handled yesterday. So we will not take any action on that. And thank you so much, sir. We are now going to, since we have a whole bunch of people behind me here, and I'm afraid to keep them up here, we're going to turn this over and allow me to introduce Steve Bauer, the Executive Director of the FEEA Assistance Fund, is joined on stage by the NEB supporters. We'll let you all handle that first. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon. I'm really impressed you got through all those. That was great. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Steve Bauer. I'm currently the Executive Director of the Federal Employee Education Assistance Fund, something I've been doing for some 25 years now. As a second career, I'm also a retired federal employee. Way back when, before it was in vogue, I even became a member of NARFE while I was still an active federal employee. And now I am a very proud lifetime member of NARFE. My dad was a federal employee. My mom was a teacher. My wife is a teacher. Public service is just in our blood. It's really what we're all about. I know I'm proud of the work I did primarily for the Social Security Administration, although I retired from the Department of Defense. I have a feeling that you're proud of the work you did when you worked for the federal government, as you should be. I am very proud of public servants. I think they need our support in so many ways. You help in that regard every day through your membership in NARFE, talking about what federal employees do every day for America. I think we actually could get a unanimous vote that we believe that we live in the greatest country in the world. What a lot of people don't realize, and God bless the military, but on the civilian side, I firmly believe, and you need to, I think most of you do believe, but I don't think we say it enough, the strength of this country comes in many ways from the work that the civilian federal workforce does every day, whether it's keeping us safe from terrorists, through the TSA, through the Border Patrol, whether it's keeping our water safe to drink, our food safe to eat. The list can go on and on. The air, safe to breathe. And it doesn't really matter. We talk a lot of politics while we're here. It doesn't really matter who's in the White House, who controls the House, or who controls the Senate. Every single day, even when there's changeover, the federal civilian workforce keeps chugging away, keeping this the best country in the world. I have never got up in the morning and thought, God, my life would have been better had I been born in Benghazi, okay? So, having said that, when I retired from the federal government, I was already on the board of directors of the Federal Employee Education Assistance Fund. And we'll call that FEA. It'll make the speech a lot shorter. I had been on the board for 3 years and was asked to take over and run the organization. Why did we found this organization in 1986? I have a feeling we probably have a lot of veterans here. And those that are not veterans know people that have served. And if you were in the Army and you ran into trouble, you would go to Army Emergency Relief. If you were a sailor, you would go to Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. If you were in the Air Force, you'd go to Air Force Aid. Even if you were in the Coast Guard, you could go to Coast Guard Mutual Assistance. Problem was, there was nothing for the civilian federal employees, even those working side by side in the military, with the military. If you went in, let's say you were a welder on a ship in San Diego, a civilian employee of the Department of Navy, and you went into Navy Relief Corps and said, my mother just died back in Philadelphia, I don't have money to buy a plane ticket, they would say, sorry, we can't help you. Now, if you were a sailor on that ship, they would buy your plane ticket. And that was the case until we founded FIA in 1986. We set up an emergency assistance program for when federal employees need help. We also set up a scholarship program. Back then in 1986, if you don't remember, it was the Reagan years. We were cutting back on various things. One of the things we cut back on greatly was student aid. Student loan programs were cut back, Pell Grants were cut back. And federal employees, and I always said this, said my dad was a federal employee and he put 5 kids through college. It was a question I never asked him. How did you manage to do that, okay? I had enough trouble putting 3 kids through college as a federal employee. Those of you that have done that, and I'm sure many people here have done that, it's like buying a second home, but you don't get to live there, okay? So where do federal employees come into this equation? Well, we always say, you can look it up in a dictionary, the definition of federal employees, and it'll say, too rich to get financial aid and too poor to send your kids to college, okay? So we set up a merit-based scholarship program. And merit is not just grades, it's community service, it's writing an essay about government, all those kind of things. And we award scholarships every year. Now, when I took over in 1989, we awarded about $40,000 in scholarships. And we also provided about $50,000 in emergency assistance to federal employees in need. We're very proud of that. This year, as an example, we have awarded about $850,000 in scholarships. And because of the furloughs alone, and the, thank you, and the government shutdown, we actually gave out over $500,000 in emergency aid to federal employees in just a 2-month period. The need is there, okay? Now, how did I really get hooked on this, okay? Like I said, I'm proud of the work I did for the federal government in service of our country. I'm even prouder of the work we do now, helping those very folks, so very many of them. I got hooked, I think, in 1989, and I think there's people, or excuse me, in 1992. There's probably a lot of people here that remember. 89 is when I took over, but in 92 we had Hurricane Andrew. People remember that? If you happen to be in South Florida, particularly in Homestead, Florida, you remember it very well. We had sustained winds of 150 miles an hour. The National Hurricane Center, which was in Miami, suffered severe damage. So they couldn't even actually come up with the final highest wind speed. But Homestead, Florida was basically wiped out, and we've seen these things over and over again. I got a call from somebody that worked for the union down there, NARFE, and they said, Steve, we know what you do. We're on your board. We have unions and management associations on our board. We need you down here, and we need you to bring cash. And I said, cash? And he said, yeah, like, we need you to bring cash down, okay? And he explained why, and I'll explain why in a moment, but I said, fine. Again, we're a very young organization at that point. We had about $20,000 in the bank. I went and got $50 and $100 bills, stuffed them into an envelope, and stuffed that envelope in the inside pocket of my jacket. Went to the airport, and if you remember back then, we didn't even know the word war on terror. Do you remember what we were fighting then? War on drugs, that's right, okay? So now picture a nervous white guy with $20,000 and $50 and $100 bills trying to get on a plane to fly to Miami, okay? I had a big argument with the folks there at the airport. I was not taking my jacket off and sending it through the screener. I ended up with a supervisor in the room where they hit you with a rubber hose and all that. I explained what I was doing. He finally let me through. So sure enough, I fly into Miami, I land, and I get picked up by what was then the Customs Service. It's now Custom and Border Patrol. The good news was that was on purpose. They had Black Hawk helicopters that they were using to patrol the waters for drug boats. They had flown them out of Homestead and inland when the storm was coming, and immediately after they flew them back in. They picked me up and flew me into Homestead. It was the only way to get there. You could not get down there. The roads were impassable. There were trees and debris everywhere. And of course, the beauty of all this is you get in the Black Hawk helicopter, and if you've ever flown on any kind of helicopter, you put on the headphones so the pilot can talk to you. We take off, and he's zipping along, and I'm looking down. It's like a war zone. I mean, you see houses shredded. It looks like somebody bombed the countryside. And in a very reassuring voice, the pilot says, "Oh, by the way, we just found out that Strom Thurmond is flying down here. And I've been designated as his backup helicopter. So if I get a call, I'm going to put you down in the field and go pick up Strom Thurmond." Thankfully, that didn't happen. Got down there. The reason we needed cash was, if you've ever been in a disaster, and I've been in many of them since this time, but electricity is out, okay? There were 2 branches of one bank in Homestead, Florida, Homestead Savings and Loan. One was in town, one was on Homestead Air Force Base. They were gone. And when I say gone, I mean literally they were gone. All that was there was the foundation. So you've got no access to money even if you have it. You're trying to buy water, some cases generators for life-saving medical equipment. And that's why we needed cash down there. I went through that cash in just a couple days. We helped 499 federal families. And I came home a little shaken, but very satisfied. And that's the kind of thing we've been doing ever since then. We'll flash forward through some of the quick history, and this is where NARFE comes in, okay? I said you should be proud of what you've done as a federal employee. You should be proud of your membership in NARFE and what you're doing here on your own time, and in many cases on your own buck, okay? But what you should also be proud of is what NARFE does with FIA. And this all began on a very dark day in our history, April 19th, 1995. And those of you that don't remember that, it's the day that 2 madmen decided they would blow up a building because people like you work there. I mean, that was their rationale. And unfortunately, as sometimes happens, these crazy people were very successful. And we lost 168 federal employees, as well as a bunch of kids in the daycare center. They're at the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Okay. Again, we're now a little older as an organization. We have a little more funding. I got a call from the Federal Executive Board Director there, Leanne Jenkins, who is still there and has become a great friend, and said, "Steve, we need you here. We've got a lot of people that need help." I flew out the next day and spent 10 days at First Christian Church with the families who were waiting and hoping. If you remember the pictures, they dug through the rubble each day, very slowly, very carefully. And I was with the folks hoping for the miracles that unfortunately never came. They did not dig out anybody who was alive. But those people needed a lot of help. And we opened up our checkbook. We brought cash, whatever they needed. We had volunteers from Tinker Air Force Base and the Federal Managers Association chapter out there. Sometimes, you know what they needed? They needed somebody to mow the lawn because the relatives were coming from out of town for the funeral. So we got it done for them. But at the same time, some people needed financial help, and we handed out about $150,000 in benefits to these people, often paying for people to come in for funerals, whatever they needed. But America responded. You really can't say anything good came out of that, but people began to recognize that you, the federal employees of our country, were their neighbors. It was the person that took the Social Security claim from the mother. It was the guy that delivered the mail. It was the person that emptied bedpans at the VA hospital. I mean, federal employees are real people, where most people envision you as what? Underworked and overpaid, right? I mean, that's what so many people think. But they began to realize, I knew this guy. And America really came together, and people started contributing, and we set up an OK fund, is what we called it. As the money came in, it was coming in literally faster than I was spending, the $150,000. NARFE, bless their heart, and again, because of what you did during your career, started collecting money. The Oklahoma Federation said, we got all these people that want to contribute, and they came to headquarters and said, would you guys accept the donations, and we'll set up a fund. Well, NARFE collected $100,000. And then they realized what I found out when I went to work for FIA. It's a lot easier to raise money than to give it away properly, okay? Plus, NARFE's not a 501c3, so donations are not tax deductible. So the question then was, what do we do with this? Well, that's when NARFE became aware of FIA through the Federal Executive Board in Oklahoma City. And I went and had a lunch with Charles Jackson, the president at the time, Leanne Jenkins from the Federal Executive Board, and Charles said, I've got $100,000 here. What should we do with it, Leanne? And Leanne said, meet Steve Bauer. I know exactly where it needs to go. And the reason for that was, by this time, we had raised more money than we had given out. And we said, we're going to set up a scholarship fund. We had 200 children that lost a federal employee parent that day. So we said, we're going to pay for college for you. The gift of education, that's what we can do for you. Well, here we are 19 years later. We have provided over 190 full ride scholarships to every one of those children. We have gotten them their education. And what about the rest? There was a child born after the bombing. We have 4 kids in school this year. We will finish that program. It's a legacy that we have given. And in large part, it's thanks to the contribution from NARFE. So NARFE realized what we can do, and I was approached and said, we'd like to be on your board of directors, and would you run a natural disaster assistance program for our people? So we agreed, and we set up a fund, just like our Oklahoma fund. We have pigeonholed funds, if you will, okay? And we get a full audit every year as a CFC charity. We know exactly how much is contributed to a fund, and that's where it's used. And we set up a disaster fund and started helping NARFE members when natural disasters hit. And the following year, we set up a scholarship program. We had no idea how that would grow and what it would grow to, but it has grown, I think, into not just NARFE helping NARFE members, but into a fantastic partnership. We do a lot of things together, and I'm very proud of that. NARFE still has a seat on our board of directors. Joe has been a valuable member over the last 4 years. When he's not been there, Dick has taken his place, so NARFE always attends our board meetings. And now, the other beautiful thing about this is, as many of you, I'm sure, volunteer in your community, my Colorado fellow NARFE members are in my office so often. We have regular lunches for them, okay? When disaster strikes, like after 9/11, we did the same thing. We set up a scholarship program. And 9/11, we spent $400,000 helping the family of civilian employees. Most of you probably don't know, it's probably a little known fact, that most of the people that died in the Pentagon were civilian federal employees, just like you. We lost some soldiers, some sailors, no airmen, but most of the people were civilian federal employees working side by side. And that plane hit very close to where I was last stationed when I worked in the Pentagon. That was my last duty station. So I actually knew some of the victims. We set up a scholarship program for all of those folks. To this day, that continues and will continue. Again, full ride scholarships, any college, anywhere. You may also not realize that, believe it or not, at the World Trade Center, out of the 3,000 people that died, there was not a federal employee. Part of us being cheap, you know, we get the cheap space on the ground floor. But there was no federal employees on the 101st floor, okay? They all were evacuated successfully, except for one poor guy who was actually not in the federal building. He was an IRS employee on detail, came down from Boston, was working in New York doing a financial audit, and was staying at the Marriott Financial Center, which is no longer called that, but it's still there. And he got crushed by debris as he was evacuating. He did not die that day, and I know that because we flew his wife down from Boston and paid for a hotel room in New York so she could be with him. But he died in December of that year, so we actually lost one federal employee there. And we had 3 on the plane that went down in Pennsylvania from the Commerce Department. So it continues all the time. I talked about Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina, we helped 4,000 federal employees. We also helped 456 NARFE members. I mean, that was an incredible storm from Florida all the way back through Louisiana and Texas, all along the Gulf Coast. So we're there when federal employees need help. We're there because folks like you support us, and you support us in many ways. And I'm proud to say we're now there to help NARFE members. This little program that we started, where we, I think, spent $1,000 in assistance the first year for NARFE members that had a natural disaster, has now provided 805 disaster assistance grants to NARFE members, totaling over $400,000. And if you think it hasn't happened in your area, we've sent checks to 36 different states: Guam, District of Columbia, the Philippines, okay? Wherever disaster strikes, FIA and the NARFE Disaster Fund is there to help your members. The troubling thing that always, if anything keeps me awake at night, it's that people don't know about us and didn't get the help they should have gotten. So that's a message I bring to you. Right now we've got the quakes and we've already started the process and we're getting better at it. But when people had damage from an earthquake in Northern California in the Napa, Sonoma area, they're not thinking about the NARFE Disaster Fund, okay? They may be thinking about getting a contractor in, do this, do that, you know, licking their wounds. We have to remind them that we're there to help them. We're not just thinking about them, but we can help them monetarily. So keep that in mind. And that little scholarship program that we started that did $12,000 in scholarships the first year has now provided over 900 scholarships to NARFE members, children, and grandchildren for $917,000. So NARFE, helping NARFE, okay? It's not just lip service, okay? We have now done a total of $1,317,373 between the scholarships and the natural disasters. And you've raised all that money. So I applaud you for thinking of your fellow NARFE members. And I want to remind you, that's a recruitment tool. Think about the grandchild or the child that got a scholarship for $1,000. That's a lot of dues money. It's like, what, 20 years worth of dues that they got back? It could be a really good investment. So it's good to know about that, okay? I said at the beginning, we were set up as a charity. We're still a charity. We don't get government funds. We have to raise all the money that we give out, okay? Last year, for really the first time, we literally we didn't run out of money, we ran out of cash. You know that problem, right? Everything is pigeonholed somewhere, okay? When we had the government shutdown and the furloughs, people were coming to us right and left. It doesn't take much. Many federal employees and many retirees live paycheck to paycheck. Least little thing puts them over the edge. As soon as they knew they were not going to get paid for 2 days or a check wasn't coming for 2 weeks, they were looking at eviction, utility shutoffs, things like that. We were not about to let that happen. So we helped about 700 federal employee families that needed help just because of that. And that wasn't the first furloughs. I've been through them in 91, 92, and in 95. In 95, I ended up on the NBC Nightly News because of all the federal employees that were coming to us. It was just, it's one of those crazy things. People don't realize it. And I think that's a side benefit that we can show because we help people that really need help. We're very careful about that. So it kind of shows that federal employees are real people. I know that. A lot of people don't. That we're not underworked, that we're not overpaid. We got into this because we believe in our country. We stayed in it because we believed in our country. And this country now owes you something. And that's what you do here, is to ensure that America fulfills that promise to you. And I believe in that, and I applaud you for doing that. One of the things that's grown over the years is the fundraising, particularly for the Natural Disaster Fund, because that's the one after Katrina that really ran dry. We've been building the coffers back up. We don't know what's in store for us. The weather's been crazy, and the NEB supporters have made this bigger and better every single year. And those of you that care nothing about any of this, we got some great prizes. And I know a lot of you are in here because of that, okay? That's the only way they can guarantee me an audience. Tell them we'll do the drawing afterwards. Besides the raffle, and they refused to tell me how much we raised, but I know the folks here, I bet it's a lot. We'll find out. There's a coupon in the NARFE magazine every month where you can contribute to the fund of your choice. You can do it online at FEA.org, and you can read about us at feea.org. And I know more and more, and I really want to thank you you always get a thank you letter, but I want to thank you personally. More and more chapters, federations, and regions are doing raising for FEA at their meetings, whether it's a 50-50 or pass the hat, whatever it might be. All that adds up, and every penny of that ends up into what I like to call now NARFE members helping NARFE members. So thank you again for all you did in your careers, all you do now, and yes, the wait is over. We're about to give away some fantastic prizes. Okay?
Steve, a small token of our appreciation for your leadership in FEA and working with NARFE for the many years.
Thank you, Joe.
It's been a personal pleasure working with you.
We will miss you, but you got one more board meeting scheduled. You know that.
I got it. And now we'll turn it over to my boss. Steve, Steve.
I've been told no uncertain terms, Joe.
I'd like to be. Please.
There's only one boss here.
We have to get some there. Good afternoon, everyone. As Steve told you, the NEB supporters do this project every 2 years. It started in 2006, and it's getting better and better. So I wanted to thank all the delegates, guests, friends for making this a very successful NARFE FEA Disaster Fundraiser. And also I want to thank President Beaudoin for allowing me to store all the FEA materials in his closet. So now that we're packing up and moving out, he's going to have a closet again. Also, I want to thank Denise, our daughter, who is here on leave from the FAA, who has helped us all this time, and she's put in over 40 hours working with us and not getting paid for it. I also want to thank Don Weesey, who has been very, very generous in his announcements, which has helped us greatly to promote this project. Also, I want to thank Will Smith and Tim Pembroke. They were always there when we needed to move things. As you know, there are an awful lot of baskets, a lot of money, and everything needed to be under security. And they were the ones that did it, moved it, brought it down in the morning, brought it back in the afternoon. So they really deserve a lot of thanks. I also wanted to thank Juliet Harding from headquarters and Danielle Huber, who really helped us out to make sure that we had the secure rooms and that everything was running smoothly. They came by and checked on us every single day, and things went well. I also want to thank Steve Bowers and Vicki Eros for lending us the FEA materials that we worked with. You saw the tablecloths, the credit card, and the credit card machine really got its work out this time. I also want to thank all the NEB supporters in all the regions and also the national officer NEB supporters who went and solicited and brought in all those beautiful gifts. As you saw, there was over $3,800 worth of gifts this year. So they really do deserve a huge thanks. Now, Steve will draw the winning ticket. As you know, there were 17 baskets. He will draw the ticket, and then we will record the name. Then all the gifts need to be picked up no later than 5 o'clock today. Denise is there guarding them right now, so everything is safe. And she will not let anyone out of her sight. But when you come, please be sure that you have some kind of ID. We had a little problem with the tickets because some threw in the keep coupon tickets, so there won't be a name, but hopefully they've got the other side, so there'll be a number. And I have Arlette Thomas, who is the Florida FIA coordinator, and she is going to record every name because we keep this systematic. We'll have everybody's name, and then people will sign off on it. Also, at the end, we're not going to announce now how much we collected, but Steve will have the honor to announce. Steve also will be doing the picking. It's not us. So we'll start out, and the first one that we're going to be doing is mine, which was the Keurig coffee maker. Just stir them around. These have been shaken very many times because people come by and shake them themselves.
They told me I'm going to make 17 friends and 800 enemies right now. Put on your big boy pants and do it, right? The winner of the Keurig coffee maker, L. Cook, Florida Chapter 185.
By the way, if someone drove here, they're going to make out because there was a $25, it's cash, for shipping. So because we don't ship, as you know, we don't have any money for shipping. We're going to be giving away Amelia Carew, as you know, her husband was sick and she couldn't be here. She is the NEB supporter from the vice president, and it's the Acer Chromebook. It's the Acer Chromebook, and that's from the Carews, and we will need an address because they will mail it from their home.
Okay, an Acer Chromebook. But to win, you have to have an email address. Or should we vote on that? And the winner is Babcock, Chapter 2085. Here? Yes. All right, congratulations.
Next we have Mrs. Hughes. Is someone? Okay. Mrs. Hughes and Jack have donated the Kindle of Fire. Do you have your bucket?
The winner of a Kindle Fire, Vivian Nathanson, Chapter 397, is obviously here. All right, congratulations.
Patsy Fitson will be getting the DVD player that we will be pulling the ticket for. This is the DVD player.
And the winner of a DVD player, and I've been told it'll make me smart. No, make your TV smart. Okay. Phil Goldstein, chapter 1465. All right.
Those were the NEB supporters from the national officers. Now we will start with Region 1. Anna Pike, and she had 2, because Region 1, which is one of the smallest regions there is, donated $600. We split because $600 we would need a trash bag because everybody would be putting their tickets in. So we split it. There's $300 in each one. There's $150 cash in each one, and there's $150 of LL Bean. This is bucket 1.
All right, $150 in cash and $150 gift certificates from LL Bean. I am available for drinks after. The winner is T. Greenwood, chapter 717, right there. All right.
And this is the second one because they had 2.
Buying the second round of drinks will be Al Gonsiska, chapter 424. Hey, all right.
Region 2, Evelyn Kirby, and we have, are you Dr. Mary Shelley? Okay, she is representing Evelyn Kirby. And this is for the GPS and all those little gift cards. They're like the restaurant, the gas, and there were a couple of others. This is what you're going to do, the GPS, the gift cards.
Okay.
It's $300, $325.
For those of you who are lost, we have a GPS with gift cards worth $320. And bless her heart, I can read this one because she was smart enough to bring her little tags that you can put on these. Phyllis Towns, chapter 553, right there. Congratulations.
Region 3, everyone should know, Martha Stewart. And they are donated a $250 Amazon gift card.
Another commercial, a $250 Amazon gift card. For those of you that shop on Amazon, if you go to Amazon Smile, you can select a charity that will get 2%. This is serious. I know I've been kidding around, but 2% of your purchases will be donated to the charity of your choice, and FIA is one of your choices, okay? So you just go to Amazon Smile, you can select FIA, and it comes up and it just says Amazon Smile. It's a regular Amazon shopping site, okay? Yeah, our donations are way up because of my daughter-in-law. She's like, orders everything online. The winner of a $250 Amazon gift card will be Jean Ross from Birmingham.
Ironically, the last time Jean donated a $250 Amazon card. She's getting back. Region 4, That's $200 in the red treasure box, and that's Jane Rogers. It was so popular, we had to have 2 bags. Stir 'em well.
Stir. Stirs. Both of them mixed together.
$200, it's a red treasure box.
There were 2. I got to mix them together.
I hope you didn't buy your ticket last and think it's on the top, because it's not.
A $200 valued red treasure box. Shirley Sager, Chapter 718 from New Jersey. Congratulations.
Region 5 is a beautiful regional basket from Carol Eck, and Carol is here, she's representing herself. It's worth $400. What you represent for the region.
Oh, I hope.
Okay, a regional basket, and Carol says there's stuff from all over the region. And it is valued at $400.
Oh, you will not believe this. You will not believe it.
The name I drew, legitimately, is Carol Eck. Carol has graciously redonated the basket. It's called re-gifting. And the winner is, for real this time, P. Johnson, Chapter 1270 in Virginia. Whoa! Congratulations.
You should say thank you. I do have your plate.
That's wonderful.
Region 6, Elaine Smith, has the Kindle Fire HDX.
Are we having fun? I know about 8 of you are so far. A Kindle Fire HDX, if you want to know what that is, ask your grandkid. Could this be our treasurer? Joey?
Dowie, is it? Chapter 33?
Oh, John Dowie.
Dowie, Chapter 33. John Dowie. That's what I said. So apparently you won't have to buy him a computer. He has a Kindle Fire HDX.
Region 7, Dolores Impina, the $250 cash, it was in the frame. And again, we had to empty. gosh, you gotta do the stir.
I'm going to stir. Okay, from Region 7, $250 in cash. You'll have to explain what cash is to your grandkids, because they don't use that anymore. We had 2 baskets that we combined, so we got to be sure everybody's got a fair chance. Okay, buying the 3rd round of drinks tonight will be Karen Doctor. Here? Yes. All right. Congratulations.
They're all dead ones anyway. Next, Region 8, Lee Zajac. It was the coach. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the 2 regional baskets. One from Hawaii, and the other, yeah, it is one of the coach. Which one are you doing?
We'll do the Hawaii first.
He's doing the Hawaii basket first.
The Hawaii regional basket. I have dibs on the chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. And the winner is Bill Sweetland, Chapter 1480. Just assuming there.
By the way, if a basket is not picked up and it doesn't have money in it, it will be auctioned off at the banquet. If one of the baskets with money in it, someone doesn't pick it up, it's going into the FIA fund.
This is for the Wells Fargo basket.
This is the Wells Fargo coach.
Oh, they said Wells Fargo. I thought they were like bringing an armored truck up. This was the good one. There is a silver ingot in there, I'm told.
I wonder why it's not on the screen.
And the winner is Gigas, Chapter 302. Yes, way over on the left. Congratulations.
Next one is Region 9, and they had the money. It was $250 in each basket, and there were a lot of tickets here. This is basket number 1. That many in one basket.
That means it's a lot of donations. Bless your heart.
It sure is.
What do you all think about money versus like baskets and Keurigs and Kindles? Any feelings? Money? Oh. Just wondering, just wondering. I know it took a lot of thought to come with $10, $50 bills, right? No, I think it's great. And winner of the 5 of those $10, $50 bills, right, is absolutely not possible to read. Anybody here that has bad handwriting? That's what I thought. Okay, we'll narrow it down. Chapter 595. And the last 4 digits of your phone number is 9109. And your name is, it looks like Ravchel. Leslie Ravenel, congratulations. Work on your handwriting, please.
Now, do you see how important it is to have a chapter number and a phone number? Again.
I had a suggestion, Leslie, next time bring your NARFE labels you get with your mailing, okay? Good use for them. Again, sorry for being slow, but we have to mix up 2 baskets because you guys were so generous. The remaining 5 $50 bills totaling $250 is awarded to Edward Braden. Yes, from Mandeville, Louisiana. Congratulations.
Region 10, Donna Shackelford, had the $250 worth of gift cards.
This is it.
The prizes, but not yours.
The final prize drawing for $250 in gift cards. Open their Amazon, use Amazon Smile. We all benefit. Stick together. And the winner of $250 in gift cards is someone very intelligent. Looks like Jay Smart, Chapter 112. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody that contributed. This is so much fun. I have a big announcement to make. I just don't know what that is.
And it really is true. He has no idea. In fact, even my NEB supporters don't know.
Having outdone yourself by a tremendous amount, I do believe we raised about $6,000 2 years ago.
It was 8,000.
My story sounds better.
Oh, okay.
This year, we got to 5 figures. You raised $10,028 for the NARFE Disaster Fund. Two years from now, I promise to wear a hat because I take my hat off to you. Congratulations. Fantastic.
Again, thank you everyone for being so generous, and it does pay off because, in fact, one of my volunteers had said that she had benefited from the FIA fund of $500, so that's wonderful. We had a true story right there. But thank you again, and we'll see what we can do in 2 years.
Thank you. We will now hear from Mr. Coleman about who our next president is. Then we will cover a resolution, then we will cover some awards from membership. That's Steve Bowers. Jane?
Am I on, Joe? Jimmy Colvin again with my co-chair, Johanna Kaler, Ballot Committee, with my last report for the day, I hope. This is the results of the runoff election for our national president. Had 4,835 votes. Richard Tyson received 2,972 votes for a total percentage of 61.47. Ken Thomas received 1,853 votes, 63 votes, 1,863 votes for a percentage of 38.53. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Mr. Sisson will be the next president, or president-elect right now. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Coleman, and your committee. We will now go to the resolutions. We have one, I believe, resolution. And the chair is Richard Dick Gingerelli from Virginia, Vice Chair Dorothy Cresswell from Texas.
All, I'm happy to report this is the last report on resolutions you'll receive today, or for this convention. First of all, I'd like to have our committee stand up. Dorothy Cresswell, Vice Chair from Texas Federation. Samuel Crane from the North Carolina Federation. David Epstein from the Alaska Federation. Mark Harris from the Florida Federation. Michael Hoyman from the Florida Federation. And Warren Savage from the California Federation. As you've heard before, we started this discussion well before this meeting via email. And it got pretty hot and heavy there for a while. You've heard about two of the resolutions that were assigned to us that we passed off to bylaws. So we won't report on those. That's 1441, the elimination of 2 national officers, and 1442, the elimination of mandatory chapter membership. You've already heard about those and voted on those. The one resolution that we had left was 1443. It's on page 107 of your book. Now, it was tied very closely to Resolution 1401 and specified the details of how the NEB should do their job and what they had stated they plan to do relative to future of NARFE. We looked into that resolution and said, well, what is there for us to look at? And we determined that the real essence of this resolution was strategic planning and the need for long-term strategic planning. The committee has finally resolved that NARFE establish a standing strategic planning committee no later than February 1st of 2015. As far as the cost for this resolution, we can't really determine that because all of the knowledge and expertise on strategic planning is out there. So this strategic planning committee would be made up of members of the federations sitting out there right now. Also, we decided that it did not have to have the large cost estimate that was in the book. We figured that, as I said, the expertise was out there, and if somebody had to be brought in from the outside, it would be for short terms. Mr. President, that is our resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Gingerelli. On behalf of the Resolutions Committee, we will be operating on substitute resolution 1443. And the substitution, be it resolved that NARFE establish a standing strategic planning committee no later than February 1, 2015. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready to vote? All those in favor of the substitute resolution 1443. Oh, somebody just showed up. We'll go mic number 12.
For the maker of the motion. As the maker of the motion, it's interesting to see how it's morphed in committee, but I have to sincerely thank the committee for enabling this process to really get underway, and I urge your approval of this resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mic number 5.
Yogi Riley, San Fernando Valley, Chapter 61. What is the difference between 1401 and 1443?
1443 is a standing committee to look at strategic planning, not just for the future of NARFE, but for all situations that NARFE has to look at to be a successful ongoing organization. And also, NARFE does not currently have a strategic planning committee.
Are there any other comments, questions? Seeing none. All those in favor of substitute resolution number 1443, please raise your voting card. All those opposed? The substitute 1443 has passed. Thank you, Mr. Gingerelli.
Thank you.
We will now turn this over to Ms. Hughes, who will make some awards for membership. You can come here. Come here.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I need the recipients of the awards to come forward, please, to the stage. And also, there are several who are not here, so if Rich Wilson, Bill Martin, Dick Ostergen, and Larry Henderson could come forward, please, as well with the recipients. Please, to the stage. Come on, everybody. We don't want any awards? Okay. Huh? Yeah, where is Marie? Where's Marie? Okay. Okay. Could I please have the recipients of the recruitment awards come forward, please? In addition to the names that I called for the ones that are not here. There should be 20 of you up here, is there? Or at least 17, I think. Okay, it looks like this is the group. I would first like to honor these individuals. On behalf of the NARFE National Officers, National Executive Board, and Federation Presidents, we recognize and thank our top membership recruiters. These members have demonstrated an exceptional dedication to the NARFE mission. Each has personally recruited 25 or more members in the 2 years since the 32nd NARFE National Convention in Sparks, Nevada. Recruitment is the cornerstone of NARFE's success. With each new member, we strengthen our voice as we advocate in support of the federal community and share the message that retired and active federal employees protect America's heartbeat. Each of our recruiters has contributed to that success. In addition to our Platinum, Gold, and Silver Award winners, we thank all of those who have influenced the decision of others to join the National Active and Retired Federal Employees Association. So we thank everyone for their work. So we're going to start, first of all, with the Silver Awards, and I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. So our first recipient of the Silver Award is James Olden, Chapter 184, Oklahoma, recruiting 25 members. Our next recipient is Jerry Hall, Region 8, Chapter 65, California, 26 recruits. Our next recipient is Donna M. Briggs, Region 10, Chapter 1382, Tennessee, 28 recruits. And I believe we have Larry Henderson, the president of the Tennessee Federation, accepting our award. Our next recipient is Yogi Riley, Region 8, Chapter 61, California, 29 recruits. Our next recipient is Gail Fullerton, Region 8, Chapter 554, California, 37 recruits. Accepting on her behalf is the president of the California Federation, Dick Ostergen. Dorothy A. Creswell, Region 6, Chapter 672, Texas, 43 recruits. Frank Impena, Region 7, Chapter 81, Colorado, 44 recruits. Philip Kraus, Region 6, Chapter 1375, Texas, 48 recruits. Our next silver award is Beverly K. Gilbert, Region 1, Chapter 1712, New York, 48 recruits. And accepting on her behalf is the President of New York. William C. Ritchie, Region 10, Chapter 1236, West Virginia, 49 recruits. Bill. And accepting on her behalf is Bill Martin, the Region 10 Vice President. Yes, and you've got 2 more, so don't leave. Eileen McGrath, Region 1, Chapter 221, Massachusetts, 51 recruits. Our next recipient is Lanny Ross, Region 9, Chapter 181, Washington, 51 recruits. Deborah L. Hoback, Region 10, Chapter 171, West Virginia, 54 recruits. Again, accepting on her behalf, Bill Martin. Geneva A. Lars, Region 10, Chapter 171, West Virginia, 58 recruits. Didn't know she was here. And our last silver award goes to Margie Dennis, Region 9, Chapter 32, Washington, 64 recruits. And accepting on her behalf is Rich Wilson, the President of Washington State. And now our gold recipients. The first one to receive the gold is Mary Pearson, Region 3, Chapter 209, Mississippi, 75 recruits. Eva Heller, Region 7, Chapter 81, Colorado, 77 recruits. Our next recipient is Larry Moore, Region 5, Chapter 148, Iowa, 80 recruits. And our top gold award goes to Stanley Sartain, Region 6, Chapter 1281, Texas, 90 recruits. And now it is my great honor to introduce to you Marie Collins, Region 10, Chapter 682, Virginia, our Platinum Award winner for this year with 100 recruits.
It just gives me great pleasure to present this to Marie. I've known her for many years. She's been the top recruiter in Virginia for many years. I've always considered this lady the face of NARFE. She would go out and recruit member after member, even when I was back on as a Federation president, and you and I competed against each other, and I beat you one year.
1 year.
But that was all, just one time. Every time after that, she always exceeded more than. But a beautiful lady, 90 years old, just a few days ago, and congratulations, Marie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful, wonderful moment to have this prestigious award. But I want to tell you all you need to do to make it happen. Be a NARFE member 28 years, become 90 years of age, and the third thing, wear your NARFE badge everywhere. Everywhere, except, I wear mine, except in the church sanctuary. Joe says, what is my secret? I pretend I am a used car salesman. Yeah. But also a charismatic one. Ladies, and gentlemen, that's my advice. Wear your badge. 3 times before I arrived in Atlanta, on the plane, coming from the airport to here, 3 different folks asked me, what's NARFE? You see, you don't need to introduce yourself. People are already asking you, and that gets your foot in the door, and that's all I have to say. Thanks again for this prestigious award.
Thank you, Elaine. We'll replace it. Well, yes. She had 100. How many total? Oh my gosh, I don't think there's a number that big. I don't know, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's a lot. It's always in that range.
Yeah, she's been the top recruiter in Virginia and for many years, and I have no idea because it goes back, as far as I know her, about 15 or 20 years. Will all the people from Chapter 2363 stand up? Okay. Then somebody was asking me if I would ask them to stand up to see how many we had. Actually, I don't see any. Okay. Okay. I know there's some here. Okay. Okay, that's over there. Any delegate wanting to have a motion considered under new business tomorrow must submit the motion in writing to the National Secretary by 9:30 tomorrow morning. Or to Mr. Lamb. And remember, before close of business tomorrow, we will consider courtesy resolutions. Anyone wishing to submit such a resolution must present it to the National Secretary in writing prior to the reconvening of business on tomorrow, on Thursday. Please print or write legibly. Use the motion forms available at the Secretary's table down here. Now, not this table down at the end, near the flag. At lunchtime, I cut out Mr. Weesey. Oh my gosh, I will never hear the end of it. So now, Mr. Weesey, would you like to come up and make all the announcements that you should have made at lunchtime, and you didn't, and the ones you want to make now? And I'm sorry.
Quite all right. You're going to be out of work here shortly anyway.
That is.
Here you go. Complaints and comments to you. Good afternoon, everybody. Earlier this morning, Lanny Ross offered me a challenge on being funny up here at the dais, or dais, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Whatever, up here at the podium. Lanny, I accept. And like the song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, sit back and let me show you how it's done. I can now reveal a little secret. If the opportunity came up yesterday, I was intending on running for your national vice president. That's a fact. However, most of you voted me out of the job.
Now you know why I worked so hard.
And because of this possible employment up at headquarters, I chose not to reveal the private notes I have been handed at this convention. In Sparks, there was a big push to get me married. And I ended up with 7 marriage proposals. Well, that process has continued here in Orlando, except they were not proposals, they were all rejections. And I will read you the 4 that I've received. You tell funny jokes, but you can't sing worth a damn, forget it. With legs like yours, I could marry a chicken and end up with the same thing. And from Jim, you look great in the lady's hat, but the mustache has to go. And the final rejection, and all of you can associate with this, if you don't have the clout to raise the temperature in the convention hall, I doubt you'll be able to raise the temperature in the bedroom. Now, are you paying attention, Lanny? All right, now for the lost and found items. This morning, before we started, there were 11 items lost and 10 of them were returned. I was so happy that our record was 90.90% for the parliamentarian, or wherever you are. There you are. But we received some items since then. We have a comb with some red whatever on it. White comb with red stuff on it. Something of very importance. Made in Germany, I have one, I can't pronounce the name, AUOJAMAD. I'm assuming it's a hearing aid type battery. There's one left in the container. What? Oh, I get it, yeah. Why does everybody think they're I guess. Back at my table is a Motorola cell phone. It is purple in color, and when I got it, the first place I went to was the Alzheimer's table, thinking maybe somebody from there lost it. The phone belongs to a person whose first name is R-A-E. I don't know how you pronounce that, but that's how it's spelled. And they have a friend or an associate named Chuck Raybuck. You can pick up that phone back at the table. A McDonald's employee found a delegate badge ribbon on the ground at their restaurant. They handed it to another delegate who had the same kind of ribbon, but they didn't lose theirs, so we have the ribbon. And most importantly, I love getting these. This was just handed to me about 3 minutes ago. Somebody is not going home from the convention because I have their keys to the rental car. It's a Ford Fiesta. It was rented from Avis. I don't know what owning city, I don't know, I don't recognize that or what wizard code that is. But it's, the car, the color of the car is gray.
Road trip.
What?
Road trip.
Oh, that's pretty good. But I work alone. Now on to the massive amount of announcements because I was not permitted to come up here earlier. I'm so glad he's done. All right. Sort of on a serious but a fun note, Ralph Perez, Region 2, Chapter 637, wishes to thank those who were concerned and helped his wife, Onelia, including the lady from Ohio. Onelia fell last night after the show we had here, and no, she was not drunk. Ralph wanted us to know she is feeling better now, and God bless you all. Again, we thank all those who assisted, and also when the security staff came and did some first aid. All right, the Pennsylvania delegation requests to attend a micro meeting at the end of the afternoon session. Meet at Region 2, at the Region 2 sign. After this meeting, Pennsylvania Federation picture backed by the Sergeant at Arms table in that corner. Now, when I give these announcements, most of them will be for pictures, and most of them will be all up here. So you work that all out when 10 groups come up here to take pictures. At the end of this afternoon session, members of the Virginia Federation, please meet in the rear of Region 10 for a group picture. Mississippi delegation, please meet in the front podium immediately after the afternoon session for a picture. Region 3 members are invited to visit with Region 3 Vice President-elect Jerry Jancy room 239 and 243 tonight, starting at 6:30. All members of District 2 of the Florida Federation meet in the front. At the conclusion of this session for a group picture. Region 3 Federation presidents, please meet in room 239 immediately after this afternoon's session. Request that the Indiana delegation meet, after today's session for a group picture in the front by the U.S. flag. Members of Region 8 meet Thursday morning at 8:30 in the lobby next to the FEEA table for a group picture. Please pick up your banquet tickets if you have not done so at this time at the NARFE office. Today is Renell Beatty's birthday from Chapter 2306 of Maryland. Renell, are you Raynell, are you in the house? Okay. Oh, here's a nice one. Not anything I'm ever going to see. Bob and Peg Fiedler from Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Chapter 458, are celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary today. Where are they? They have to stand. They're there. Regarding these aren't quite accurate figures because things have happened, because I was supposed to give it out this morning. But on the Alzheimer's, and these figures will go up, on the Alzheimer's, first place prize will be $1,007 plus. Second place will be $640 plus, and third place will be $403 plus. And the drawing will be held in this hall tomorrow morning. They are selling tickets till 4 p.m., which is 5 minutes away. And just one more shot for the NARFE PAC because they're paying me very well. No, I had to pay them. Never mind. More breaking news. It has been found that giving to NARFE PAC can hide male pattern baldness. NARFE PAC has hats available for a modest contribution. Visit them at the NARFE table. I did not buy that hat to wear so that I have to come up here for a prop. Two more things and we will be done. There's a person who needs a ride to the Tampa area on Friday. Please contact Nick Adams in room 606 if you can help him out. He needs a ride to the Tampa area. And my final one, and this doesn't happen very often. You can ask my 3 ex-wives. Yesterday, someone gave me an announcement pertaining to a wedding anniversary. And I believe it was between Katie and James, but his name James was Jim in parentheses. And I believe they were celebrating a 50-plus, it may have been 57-year anniversary. Are those two people in the crowd today? I mean, I know they gave me the paper, but I... Way in the back? How many years? What did she say? Okay, well, congratulations then. Now, although I am not on the schedule, as you'll see on the thing, you will hear from me, assuming that the president allows, one last time tomorrow sometime before the adjournment of our convention. And I usually give, it's kind of like, you know, nobody puts baby in a corner. I will be the last one before the adjournment by Joe. So you'll hear me one last time if he allows it. And I thank you for your time and have a good evening tonight. Mr. President.
Just a couple of things. Thank you, Mr. Weesey. And Dick, at the next convention, see if we can pay him a little more so he can buy the rest of his pants.
That's good. But like I said, I work alone, okay? One. Oh, very funny. You're the one that pushed to drop the national VP thing, not me.
Why do you think I work so hard?
Yeah. Illinois Federation, please meet at 8:45 tomorrow morning for a group picture, but it does not say where. All I do is read them.
Do we have any AFEs present? Any AFEs?
Cindy.
I know besides my daughter who's here. But Cindy, okay. Got a couple. Thank you for attending. Tomorrow you can sleep in. You don't have to get up to vote. I just want to acknowledge this beautiful lady with these hats. You have all the different hats and they are gorgeous. But thank you. We will be in recess until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.